Everybody, all right, I'm back with another review of X-Men 97, this time episode number 3. So we got a bunch of pictures to show you, and I'll just kind of go through the story. So let's do this. All right, here we go. All right, so never pass by the intro, because there's all these little things that they throw in there that may or may not give you some clues as to what's going to happen in the future. Also, the roster changes too. I didn't go over that in this time. You guys can do it yourself if you watch it, but yeah, never skip it because there's little clues. So here's one different from the other intros: Magneto fighting the X-Men, as you can see here. Then Roberto da Costa, this is what Jubilee did in the beginning of the original animation. Now instead of Jubilee doing this exact thing, it's Roberto. This is a photo of picture of Lalandra when she was trying to destroy Phoenix / Jean Grey, and Professor X was trying to convince them not to do it. And then there it is, the beam from the Shi'ar ship that Lalandra just hit, and Jean's like, I'm gonna let him do it because you gotta destroy me because it's the only way to save us. This is all past stuff. This one, Gambit and Rogue. Okay. Okay, now we're into the episode, and remember the last episode, there's 2 Jeans now. I was like, wait a minute, why is there 2 Jeans? So the one that just arrived, we'll call her Jean 2. She's on the couch there. They brought her in, and Jean 1 is about to try to read her mind to see if she can figure out something about who is she, where she come from, what's going on here, why is there somebody that looks exactly like me. So here she goes. She's beginning to read her mind, and she sees her memories, but her face is blank. She's like, well, what is this? Why is her face blank? There's another one, face is blank. Even as Phoenix, face is blank. Then she sees, oh, she was here in this dungeon looking place. So she sees that she's there, and she's waking up, and then she's escaping. She's running away from this place, so she doesn't know where the heck she is probably. And then she's looking at Crazy Eddie's. Who remembers Crazy Eddie's from way back in the day? That shows my age. This is again from the 90s. So, and then she finally finds the mansion, right? She's trying to get back home, right? And then we find Morph when he opens the door and he sees her. And then all of a sudden, warning, this is the scary episode of the X-Men right here. So you see this disgusting looking mouth, and if you look close and pay attention, Jean 1, we'll call her, the one that we've been seeing and watching through this whole thing, got a little red diamond on there. We know somebody else that's got a little red diamond on their head. And all of a sudden, bam, kind of like some kind of force thingy happens, and she's thrown back. She's like, ah! And she's like, I don't know what's going on. They're all trying to figure out who is she. And Hank's in the background doing tests. And Morph is trying to be, he's always trying to be funny. He's like, let's call her Jean Doe. Who's with me? Raise a hand if you think we should name her Jean Doe. Anybody? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. He turns into Spiral, who has 6 hands. He's such a goofball. And then Beast is like, oh, you ain't gonna believe this. Yeah, this is Jean, all right, but I did a carbon testing thing where they can tell you the date of something, and they're like, Jean 2? This is the actual Jean, and our Jean is exactly the same in every way, but she's not old enough. She's too young. This Jean laying on the couch, this is the actual Jean. She's the right age. This other one is too young. She's not. Jean 1, we'll call her for now, she does not like hearing that. She's flipping out. And he's like, here's the proof, da-da-da-da. And she's like, no way, I'm Jean Grey. You know me. I fought with you, da-da-da. Scott, tell him, Scott. Tell him, Scott. And then Scott's just like, awkward. You don't know what to say. And Beast is like, Magneto's like, all right, let's verify this test. Let's do the test again. He's holding the, that plastic or glass thing with the DNA, I'm supposed, in it. And Jean 1 smashes it. She's like, no more tests. You know who I am. I'm Jean Grey. I've been with you all this time. I've been fighting by your side. Blah, blah, blah. She's flipping out. And then everybody's like, we don't know. And then she goes to Scott, Storm would have believed me. And she leaves. She just turns around and leaves. Goes to her room, and there she is with the baby. And she's like, yeah, we should have left. Like I wanted to in the first place. Scott comes in. He's like, I can take the baby if you want. She's like, no, no, no. It may be, even if I'm not the real Jean, this is still my baby. I am the mother of this baby. And nobody can take that away from me. He's like, nobody's saying that. And she's like, just go. Just go. Like, she's just really angry. And then you see the little baby monitor thing in the back. All of a sudden a voice comes out, says,
Jean Grey? Are you Jean Grey?
This weird voice. It's like, who are you? What's going on? Da-da-da-da. It's like, are you the real Jean Grey? Whatever. And then it skips to Beast and Bishop, who is, Beast is trying to fix his time band so that he can go back to the future where Bishop actually belongs. He's been working on it for a while now. But at the same time, Bishop's looking out. He's like, you're doing a good job here. It looks like it's almost done. But Beast is like, we gotta, because I'm definitely going to finish that. But right now we have this issue with Jean. We're trying to figure this out. So he's still examining the DNA. He's examining Jean 1's DNA. I'm going to call her that for now. And he comes up with a, well, hold on. Before we get there, Scott's like, hey, Bishop, you've seen different futures, you said. Have you ever seen a future where this happens, where there's two Jeans? He goes, no, I've never seen that. It's not, time is just weird. You never know what you're going to get. It's not like, a book. You can just keep track and all this stuff, whatever. Beast is like, Scott, you got to get to Nathan right now. Like, what's the matter? What's the matter? Every genetic manipulation like this with clones has its own signature, and I can tell who did this. It was Sinister, Mr. Sinister. Now back to Jean 1. She's still hearing this voice, and she's like, who are you? Who are you? And he's like, you can call me, some call me Mr. Sinister, but you can call me Father. She's like, what? No. She doesn't want to believe it. And then there's lightning and thunder. And then all of a sudden, now she can't see him. So it's like, is he really there or not? Or is this in her mind? Whatever. He's still talking through the baby monitor thing and telling her he's, he made her. Every part of you is mine. I created you. Nathan's crying. It's like, stay away from me and my family. You've always tried to mess with me and Scott because you want our DNA so that you could create. Wait a minute. You want our son Nathan? No, you're not going to have Nathan. And he's like, oh, I have you already. Because, again, I'm controlling you. Notice the same red diamond thing in his head. And so now she's like, her mental's going crazy. And then he's showing her, look, see, I did create you. And he's showing her. There they are, two genes. He made another gene. And then see the red diamond thing? He takes it, puts it on the clone's head to show, I got you, you're mine, and I'm actually controlling you. I can control your mind. And then we see the manifestation of that on her head again. And she's like, oh. And when the eyes turn green, you got a problem. So she's really flipping out. He's really doing a number on her. Now all this craziness has happened, as you see there. And she's flipping out and things are flying everywhere. She destroys the baby monitor. She's chucking against the wall. She sees a picture of her and Scott. And she's like, is that even me? Da, da, da. Everything's flying all over the place. And she's getting ready to do something. What's going on? And then the baby's really, really crying. She's like, hush now. Mommy's busy. And then she starts to transmute. Is that the word? Her clothes to a whole new outfit. And yeah, this is the outfit. Still see that red diamond thing. And even with a cape that looks like bat wings. So anyway, then Wolverine, Gambit, and Morph were in the training room doing training, right? And they're like, oh, good workout, da, 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 da. And then Morph's like, let's see who else is on the roster. He's like, oh, Rogue and Magneto. Oh, they're on here for Friday, 8 to 10. Oh, and Friday at 10 to 12. Oh, and Saturday, 10 to 12. And Saturday, 12 to 2. And Saturday again, 2 to 4. And he's like, wow, Rogue's really working out her stamina with the new boss. And Gambit's like, it don't say that. He gets all pissed off and he goes to try to find her. And then Morph and Wolverine are cracking up. He's like, go easy on him, kid. Whatever. He goes, go hit the showers. I got to go talk to a redhead. Well, one of them anyway. So Morph goes to the locker room, doing what you do. He hears somebody in the shower. And that's all you know for now. Then it switches to Gambit. Gambit is seeing down the hall some green light glow. He's like, what is that? He's seeing, through the door here. And then we switch to Roberto and Jubilee watching a movie, eating some popcorn. And all of a sudden, the person on the movie on the TV looks like he's looking at him. Like, what? Roberto's like, do you see that? He looks like he's looking at us. And then back to Morph in the shower. And he hears somebody in the shower and he's like, oh, is that you, Wolverine? And there he is. And then he's like, joke, because he always jokes. He's like, do you need some help with those hard to reach places? Morph, you're so weird. Anyway, Gambit goes into the room with the green glow. It's like, what's going on here? And, okay, I'm warning you now. There's some weird, gross stuff. If you're squeamish, this is nasty. This is obviously not real, right? But she sees Rogue and Magneto, and their skin is melted into each other together. I tried to show you the pictures that are not too gross. So if this is gross for you, be glad I didn't show you some of the grosser stuff. But he's like, what? What is this? They're melded together. What is going on? She's like, I found myself a real man. He's like, what? The shock on his face. Now back to Jubilee and Roberto. Now these jokers on the TV, eyes turn green. She's pointing at him. And then all of a sudden, the girl comes out of the TV. Like the girl from the Ring movie. The girl with the long black hair coming out of the TV. And Julie's like, oh, not today, Satan. She blasts that thing out of the TV. Thing falls to the ground. You can see it's coming out of the TV. And then it gets back up. And now it changes to Roberto's mother's face. And she's like, monstro, which is monster in Portuguese. Jubilee's like grabbing Roberto. Couch goes flying backwards and back to Morph. And he's like, oh no, not you, not you. And coming out of the steam is Mr. Sinister, who basically tortured him in the past, controlled him in the past, and it was very bad history there. Scott and Bishop go to try to find the baby, Nathan. They get into the room and they're like, this room is a mess. What happened here? Everything's all over the place. This doesn't look good. And then baby stuff starts to turn into monsters. What is going on here? And then the teddy bear, he starts to look all weird. Look at the big smile. Turns into like a weird Professor X looking dude. And then the other monster thing is grabbing him like octopus with, wrapping around him. Then Bishop's sister from the future, her face pops out of one of the tentacle things. And he's like, this can't be real. This can't be real. Like they're all freaking out. All this crazy crap's going on. Roberto, back to Roberto. His powers kind of manifest, probably involuntarily because he's, freaking out. And then the monster pushes him against the wall. And there's the mother, but it's not really his mother, but mother's like, you're a disappointment. You're a failure. You're not my son. You're a monster. Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden, another head comes out of the mother's mouth. It's so gross. And then Julie's like, again, not today, Satan, and blast the thing. She's like, what was that? So then you go to the elevator. You hear the elevator and you go, ding. And Beast is on the elevator. And the doors open and he sees something and he's like, oh dear. I think one of us got off at the wrong floor. What the heck is this thing? This is the horror episode, y'all. I'm telling you. All right, so Julie's like, what's going on? It seems like the whole mansion's possessed. And Morph is like, don't you get it? We're in hell. And then all of a sudden something happens. There's a rumbling and the floor is all cracking up. And all of a sudden they're all feeling like they're falling down. Whoa, they're falling. And it is starting to look like hell, Dante's Inferno, whatever. Oh, now we got demons. Great. We got demons now. And there's demons everywhere, all flying around, winged demons. And they're like, what is happening? What is going on? There's another ugly one. These are really ugly. Only a mama could love that face. And then Bishop's like, hey, Scott. Hey, Cyclops, hit me. Because remember, Bishop, he absorbs any kind of energy directed at him and then can redirect it. So Scott has energy beams that shoot out of his eyes. He hits Bishop with it. He's going to absorb it all. So Scott's like, all right, here we go. Let's do it. And then he blasts Bishop. Bishop's not getting hurt. He absorbed it all. And then there he is absorbing. He's like, ah. And then the demons are like, uh-oh, this don't look good. Something's going on. And then Bishop's like, Get ready for an exorcism, punks. And then he blasts all of them, all in the sky. He pretty much takes care of pretty much all of them. And then they're like done, and they say, "You're welcome" to each other. It was really funny. And then this demonic looking sentinel, remember the sentinels from the first episode, rises up and he's like, "Die, burn mutants, burn mutants." I'm like, what now? What is going on? And then all of a sudden, somebody from above starts to descend like an angel with a blue glow about them and says, "Enough!" And then you see the sentinel, the demonic sentinel, start to kind of fade away, and you see this angelic person coming down, and oh, it's Jean number 2. Jean number 2 coming in her hospital gown, I guess is equivalent, whatever you call that. And she is fixing everything, making everything normal again, getting rid of all the bad stuff, and there she is. And then she, exerts herself a lot, so she faints into Scott's arms. And then Madeline shows up. She's like, "Oh, pathetic. I don't even know what you saw in her." And she's like, "Stay away from me. Don't follow me. Don't come after me. If you know what's good for you, or all this you suffered, it's going to be worse for you." So she's like, "I am the Goblin Queen." You are? Where'd that name come from? I don't know. Did Sinister put that in your head? That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. The Goblin Queen? He did call her royal. I kept saying royal, but where'd the goblin part come from? That I don't know. But anyway, she's like, don't follow me. Don't follow me. It's going to be bad for you. Now, they're in the infirmity, licking their wounds, as they say, trying to recoup and recover. And Rogue and Magneto, who were nowhere to be found, show up. And she's like, "Remy!" It's like, "I should have been here." It's like, "It's okay, Cher. Give me okay." And so, where were you, Rogue and Magneto? Where were y'all at? What were y'all doing all this time? Inquiring minds want to know. Then he was like, "Status report." He's like, "Sinister, he made Madeline. Definitely he's the clone, and we got attacked, and yada, yada, yada." And then Roberto asks, "Who is Mr. Sinister?" And Morph, who was captured by Mr. Sinister and forced to do things against his will, he was telling her he's a really bad guy, he's very evil, yada yada, and he manipulates people. And this is what Morph used to look like in the old animated version cartoon, when Sinister had him under his control. Jean is trying to figure out her powers again, because as this powerful psychic, she hears everybody's thoughts, and you have to be able to block/filter it all, and she's having a hard time doing that because, again, her mind is like trying to come back to normal. Beast gives her something to try to calm her down. Now we see the dungeon with the green glow and all that stuff again. It's like, oh, okay, is this where Mr. Sinister's hanging out? Oh yeah, and he got baby Nathan. Bro, what are you getting ready to do with this baby? What are you getting ready to do with this baby? What, are you dunking this baby in some green goop? What are you doing? You sicko. He puts the baby in the green goop. Bro, what are you doing? He's like, "You're going to be so powerful, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do something with you, and you're going to be the most powerful creature, yada, yada, yada." He's a sicko. He's a sicko. All right, now Morph's like, "I think I know where they are." So he leads them to this church, all of them, well, not all of them, part of them. And they go, and Madeline is there just waiting for him. And Morph had said, "Remember, she's under his control. It's not exactly her fault." And then she hears that, and she's like, "Oh, that's right. I know not what I do," like mocking, kind of. And so they're getting ready to battle, and here she goes. And Morph turns into Ilyana Rasputin, which is Colossus's sister, Russian to Russian. And she goes to attack. But then Jean number 2, let's call her Bad Jean. I'm going to switch the name to Bad Jean. Takes over her mind and forces her to do what she wants. And she's like, "Yes, my queen." And then she turns into Ilyana, the demon version of Ilyana. That's a whole nother story. Got time to explain all that. And then she goes, "I am power." They, he, she, they, whatever. "I am power." I'm like, okay, where's that line come from? Do you watch He-Man too much? Like, I don't know why you just screamed that. So she starts attack. And Magneto's like, "Give us the boy, you brimstone, brimstone clone." And so he pulls on the metal from the stained glass windows, and whoever had to color all this in, they must have had a lot of fun. Look at all them colors. And he's attacking her with metal, because that's what he does. He manipulates metal. Here you see the metal pulling out of the windows. And now she's like, oh, okay, I applaud your magnetism, but my telekinetic gifts, I can move anything, not just metal. So she's attacking him back, and he's trying to make a force bubble, and she's pretty much winning. And he's like, you know what, I should make you my plaything. And boom, tosses him to the ground. Magneto's out. Scott blasts her in the face. In the face. As she's bleeding, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. She's like, that's okay. It's okay, Scott. You'll bleed too. She kisses him. Back to Jean. She's still struggling. I'm hearing all the thoughts. She can't filter it out. And Logan's like, just focus on me. Focus on my mind. Focus on me. Focus your thoughts on me. And then she sees, like, you know, oh, wow, do I mean all that to you? It's like, yeah, look deeper. And you know he likes her. Stop it, Wolverine. And then all of a sudden, because Jean and Scott have what's called a psychic rapport, they're kind of connected psychically at all times. Scott is in distress, and Jean can feel that because bad Jean is attacking, and he's like, ah, and she's feeling it, and she's like, oh my gosh, I gotta go help. And Jean's like, your body is in no condition to go anywhere. And she's like, Beast, please. My body ain't going nowhere. I don't need my body to go anywhere. So she's getting ready to do a psychic fight and battle. So there she goes. She's getting ready to do it. You know, when they put their hand to their head like that, they're going to do psychic something. And so she sees where bad Jean is and starts the attack. And then she's good Jean in her astral form, like it's like her spirit kind of, sees Scott. And then Madeline's like, no, not Madeline. Bad Jean. Sorry, that comes later. Bad Jean's like, you! And then Jean's like, oh, okay, we gonna fight. Here we go. And this is like a manifestation of good Jean, what she looks like, I guess. And she blasts bad Jean. And now they're on what's called the astral plane, which is like an existence mentally that you exist in. And you can, it all depends on how imaginative and creative you are. You can do anything in the astral plane. So there's Jean with the blue glowy look. I'm trying to say. Madeline, you see her in the background. Madeline is like, oh, okay, we're gonna fight here. She's like, I was the Phoenix. I was power, because this is the Phoenix Force behind Earth there. And Jean's like, that's it? That's all you are? You're power? That's it? That's your thing? You're just power. So she kind of feels bad for her. And then they go into their memories, and she sees Jean being visited by Professor X when she was a little girl, because the parents called him because he said he could help, and noticed the doll, the one-eyed monster, which is called a Cyclops. That was in the first animated series too. She's like, yeah, my parents call me because I think too much. And he goes, yeah, I think too much too. But he mentally said that to her, not with his mouth. And they're there looking at the memories. And then all of a sudden, this is a very big memory that Jean had. Annie, her best friend, gets killed, run over by a car. And that's when Jean's powers kicked in, and she was connected to the girl when she died, and that caused such trauma. So Professor had to kind of squelch her powers in a way, and yeah, because it was protecting her mind, because she just couldn't take it. It was a bad situation, and bad Jean's like, no, Annie, no, like as if it's still her, which it's really not, because she's a clone. And Jean's like, oh my gosh, so much pain, and Madeline's like, it's my pain, I keep saying Madeline. She's gonna be called Madeline later. Bad Jean's like, that's my pain. She goes, look at all these memories. Can you tell which ones are you and which ones are mine? She's like, no. And she attacks her, and then good Jean, at the same time as she's small, makes a big version. Again, imagination. She swallows them up. But then good Jean shows bad Jean her baby. Remember your baby? Remember you just had a baby? And then she's like, oh, my baby. How can I forget? So she's trying to focus on the love that she had with the baby. And there's Rogue. Remembered where she had delivered the baby. And there she is, getting ready to give the baby to Jean. She's got to cut the umbilical cord thing. And then she's like, oh, my baby, how could I forget? She's like, this is the purest love there is. And that actually helps break bad Jean out of Sinister's spell. As you see this redness kind of pop. And there, seeing the thing kind of breaks. So now she is free from Sinister's control. And she looks at Scott, and Scott's like, because he don't know what's going on. We getting ready to fight again? She's like, Scott, let's go rescue our baby. So she helps him get up, and they go. And then Sinister's like, oh, if Xavier's orphans knew what we were going to do and how powerful you're going to become, and da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, Scott blasts Mr. Sinister. See, he got a big old gaping hole under his chest there. That's what happens when Scott blasts him with his eye blast. He's like, what? Impossible. What's going on? And then Jean holds him up against the wall. And she's like, he's trying to fight back. It's like, you sicko, you took our baby, blah, 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 all this stuff. Scott takes the baby out of the green goop. And of course, Nathan's very happy about that. And Sinister tries to retaliate and blast. And then she's like, your powers are nothing against mine. And then he slowly escapes and says the weirdest thing. He says,
Ladybird, fly away home. Your house is on fire and your child all gone.
what? I don't know what that's about. But anyway, then Nathan's like, they're like, oh no, something's wrong. Look at him. And Beast is going to find out that this is a techno-organic virus. It's a virus, but it's like kind of mechanical, but it's also organic. Hard to explain, but the baby's sick, and he's like, I don't think I have a way to fix this like quickly enough in time before this thing can kill him. It could take months, years, and he don't have that long. And there's just not enough time. We don't have the time. And she's like, well, maybe we can't do it in our time, but Bishop, how about in your time? Maybe in your time you have some kind of medical technology or whatever that can try to help him. And he's like, well, with the time being, I can take him and I could take me, and that's it. Doesn't have enough juice basically to take anybody else but me and the baby. And Scott's like, what? I don't want to abandon my baby. Don't you know what that feels like to be abandoned? My father abandoned me. It's like, I don't want him to suffer this way. I don't want him to go through that like I did. And then turns around and leaves and abandons his baby. What? Scott, what do you do? You just said you don't want to... whatever. Madeline's like, he's never going to feel abandoned. I'm going to take care of it. She's outside. She's putting psychic stuff in the baby's mind so that he won't forget them and he won't feel like he's abandoned. So for the future, he will feel that he was loved and his parents loved him. And here you see she's doing it to his brain. And Bishop's like, all right, I got the time portal thing ready to go. I'm going to take the baby and hopefully we can get your baby healed. And they take off into the future. Bye-bye, baby Nathan. Bad Jean is now leaving. And she's like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't take this anymore. Jean says, wait. Good Jean. Now I'm going to tell you what their real names are. So it's Jean, and the green shirt is Madeline. Purple shirt is Jean. Green shirt is Madeline. She's like, call me Madeline Pryor. Where does this name come from? They don't explain it. It's in the comics, but I'm saying in this cartoon, if you're new and you don't know nothing, where did that name come from all of a sudden? It's from the comics. No explanation. I'm just going to say Sinister somehow made that into her brain. Anyway, so she leaves. She's like, you can stay. She goes, no, I want to get off. If you know my thoughts too, then you know I've always wanted to leave anyway. So she leaves. Then actual Jean goes to see Scott, and there's awkward silence. This is awkward. Then we go to Texas to the Tequila Mockingbird bar. And Storm is sitting there. Remember Storm? She left. And she's looking at the TV. And then some guy comes and sits next to her and looking at the TV. He's like, oh, look at those temperatures. 100, 102, 103. She's like, boy, it sure would be nice if somebody could make it rain. Just told Storm that. He's like, speak plainly. Who are you? He's like, I'm Forge. I'm a friend of Professor Xavier. And I want to try to see if I can try to help you with your problem. Basically meaning get your powers back. So she's like, oh, and that's it. That is the end of the episode. So yeah, hopefully I'll do a part 4, episode 4 real soon. My time is done. I have to get this done within 30 minutes because Restream only lets me do 30-minute videos as a pre-recorded. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Leave comments. If you want to see more, let me know that too. And yeah, that is it for my review. And hopefully episode 4 will be coming soon. Appreciate you guys being here and watching. And we will catch y'all next